Hey guys, this is June because I was born in June. Welcome to our amazing entrepreneur story for today. So today it's my pleasure to actually have Iain from Digital Closers to be on our show. So how is it, Iain, for you right now?
It's going well, fantastic. Thank you. I've woken up and I'm starting this interview, and I'm looking forward to it.
This is awesome. So Iain is actually from Digital Closers. So Iain, can you tell me what do you do? Like what is your company doing and how you actually started this company?
Okay, Digital Closers is a startup. It's just coming up to 2 years, and essentially it's an online business that increases sales conversions. That's the bottom line. How do we get your product or service to engage more, to connect more with your audience, and then literally to increase your sales? Because at the end of it, right, without clients, you haven't got a business. So that's the premise, is to increase sales for our clients. And how we do that, we do that with sales closing aspect. We create the funnel or the websites that drive a place for where people to go to. And of course, you need traffic to get them there. And we also take care of that as well.
That is awesome. Like you cover a wide range, like you have funnels, you have traffic as well. But then can I know like what inspired you to actually start these Digital Closers 2 years ago?
Wow, actually, to be honest, it really goes a lot further back. It goes into the early 2000s, where the whole online journey really began for me. And from that, where it was back in the days before Facebook, we're talking like 2003. I just purchased my Mac G3 PowerBook. It was this, back in the day, that was a real cool computer to have. And I started this online journey. And I actually started, because I had a background in film and the modeling industry with friends and all sorts of stuff. And obviously that was my career at the time. But it came into Dice Models. And I had this online model agency. So it started from there. And from that moment, even though there's some successes and failures out of that, it planted the seed. Being able to work and travel around the world has been the biggest blessing. And I think Digital Closers comes out of Dice Models, that idea that you can actually do very well and feel satisfied in many aspects of your life by having an online business. So when I met the co-founder, Brian Mills, we just gelled straight away, and we knew that we could come up with a fantastic company that can just push forward. And here we are 2 years later, and I would not go back. I've done every type of job you can imagine.
Oh my God, this is something
Nothing.
that is juicy. Like you told me that you have done every type of job I can ever imagine.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell us more about it? Who were you before you formed this Digital Closer, or before you even dive into online marketing?
Okay, well, I mean, so I don't know how old you think I am, but I'm probably older than you think. And
were you using Friendster?
Friendster. So I'm even before Friendster. Let's go back, So let's put it this way. I'm 42 years old, right? And I think part of that, being across that whole change. So in high school, we didn't have phones. I didn't have my first cell phone until I was 21. So the whole concept of how things are running today is very different from when I started, and the opportunities that younger people have. Oh my gosh, you guys are so lucky, you have no idea. And how just to get a picture from one side of the world to the other used to take 6 weeks, right? To now everything's instant. So it's a long story, and I don't want to bore your audience with my long story.
No, it's very exciting.
I have literally had a good 15 years in film and television, and behind the camera, in front of the camera. I've worked with Ryan Gosling back in the day, in the late 90s, when he was only 17 years old. He was 17, I was 19, and it just goes on. I've worked as in construction in Hawaii. I've waited tables in Vancouver and Los Angeles, trying to crack into the whole acting world at one point when I was a lot younger. So the whole idea of the world is really been, I've been out in the world. I'm from New Zealand. I'm from Auckland in New Zealand, and New Zealand is a fantastic country, but I've been pretty much the last 20 years outside of New Zealand. And currently I live in the Canary Islands, which is part of Spain, which is in the Atlantic Ocean, and it seems to be a perfect place to communicate with people around the world. So my whole journey to this point is long, and I don't think it's really what you guys really want to hear right now. What you want to hear is what works, what doesn't work, and how you're going to be able to have the freedom that I am so humble, and I have a family and I can spend time with them. And these are the core issues or the core values that I live and breathe by.
So currently you are actually settling down in Spain, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Do you foresee yourself that you are going to travel again, like maybe in a few years' time, or like what do you have planned for yourself?
I think I'm at this point that I've traveled so much, and I am settled here in the Canary Islands. It's a fantastic place to live. I'm close enough to everywhere, but yet far enough away. So close to Europe if I needed to. So yes, of course I have lots more travel plans, but for me, I'm at that different stage in my life. I've got children at school, so they become your rocks that keep you in place. And also I'm at that stage where you start thinking your legacy. It's crazy to think that, but in your 20s, you're not thinking your legacy. By the time you're 42, like me, you're already thinking, okay, so that time went very quick. I better hurry up if I want to do what I say I want to do. And I think that's when you get into this game, you got to actually think the long term. How is it going to play out? Is this just a 1 or 2 year fling, or is this a serious commitment? And it's tough, right? So I think for travel, I'm not so focused. And also obviously with the current situation, I have no need to travel. So, but for me, it's about building a business that's successful and it can live on a lot longer and grow to a lot bigger stage than it currently is.
Okay, this is really awesome because a lot of our listeners and also in podcasts, as well as a lot of our audience and followers out there, they are really just starting out. Like if let's say currently you are talking to someone who is younger, maybe 10 years or 20 years younger than you, what would be the top 3 advice that you give them?
In terms of starting an online business?
In terms of life in general, or also as well as in the career?
Okay, for sure. I think first of all, career is important. Something that I've learned, and this is something that I'm teaching my own kids, and have a skill. Have something that you can do that someone will pay you for. Now, back when I was, I'm sounding old already, right? So back in the 90s, when I was like starting out, like those days it was about getting a trade or going to some sort of corporate office work. Okay. I did a little bit of both, but did neither. And I ended up going into the film industry. So that's a completely different story. And that's a 15-year journey. So you don't always know what you're going to be, right? When you leave school, like there's no expectations, and don't even care about it. Just go, how can I gain a skill that makes me more valuable in the marketplace? That's it. With that skill, you can travel anywhere in the world.
But if let's say anyone who is starting out there, they say, but then Iain, I do not know what kind of skill I should actually go into. Like, how should they go and explore? What kind of skills that it's suitable for them?
Okay, so first of all, because I live in Spain, right? Languages. You got to be able to communicate with people. Now, I'm blessed because I grew up in New Zealand. I speak English as a native speaker. So I have a huge advantage. But work on your language skills. Work on your communications. So at high school, I was useless at English, okay? I was semi-dyslexic. I didn't know a few things. But then I focused on it over the next, say, 10 years. And when I went to study at university, all of a sudden I'm writing 5,000 word essays and then 20,000 word theses. 10 years ago, I couldn't even put like a sentence together for high school, right? So work on communications. I was always good at communicating, but I couldn't put it as well on paper as I could speak. And then with the two, communications, languages. If you don't speak English, learn English. I'm sorry, it's just the way the world is. You just got to. There's no question. In Spain, it's a C or C, which is yes or yes. Then from there, That's your core skills. Build on the values. Who do you want to stand for? Build on your reputation, because your name is everything. And this world, even though it's a bigger world, and online it's even bigger, it's not. It is actually quite small. It's very easy to find people. And if you've done something wrong, it's very easy to be pointed out. Your reputation is going to stick with you. Everything is online. It's always going to be online. So keep that in mind. Don't do anything stupid and record it. Okay. In terms of career, focus on what you like doing and getting a skill in that.
Is that because you love communication and persuasive communication? That's why you actually formed this digital closer?
I love people. Simple. I've traveled the world. I've been to Malaysia. We were just describing earlier, just before we jumped on. I've traveled right across the peninsula of Malaysia. I loved it. 2 weeks backpacking. But it's the people. It's the people I met on the streets or in those moments. And so that is the core thing with me, is people. I like meeting nice people, good people, people who are going places, people who inspire me, and that drives me. And so yes, digital closers is an extension of that, because it's basically partly my personality. I like meeting people. So if someone wants me to close some deals for them, okay, what's your prospect's problem? What's your solution? Let me make it work. I like that. I like solving people's problems.
This is perfect. Okay, also one thing I realized, because you have done so many things and then eventually you really have running this really successful digital closers. A lot of our friends out there, they are thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do that? They kind of lack of confidence. How did you actually make the switch? Because it's totally different industry. It's totally different from what you studied back in university. How did you make the switch?
Never stop learning. Okay, so I am a big believer in education. It literally took me from one type of environment when I was growing up as a teenager, very working class, average neighborhoods, gang fights in my high school, the whole story. We had a shooting, and we don't have many shootings in New Zealand at all, especially back then. And it was rough. It was a rough environment. So education has always got me out. Now, yes, I did some study. I had to pay for that. How do I pay for it? Well, I had to work for it. There was no shortcuts to anything in my life. That's why it's taken, this long to keep going. But I don't feel like there's an end. So keep studying, keep learning. And then with that, you'll discover the chance to try something new, right? About 2 years ago, I was going to give up on social media. I was like, I'm bored of this thing. I lived life before social media, but then I met Brian, and then I've started digital closers, and now I live and breathe it. So you never know. Don't limit your opportunities in life. When I got handed the role to work with on Young Hercules with Ryan Gosling, I had no idea who he is. I didn't know anything about what I was getting into. The money wasn't great at all, but it's those opportunities in life that just come knocking. If you don't take them, I've traveled around the world. The reason why I've traveled around the world is not because, I just go over here. No, because there's something pulling me to those places. So I trust my intuition, my gut instinct so much. And it's got me into trouble, and it's also got me out of trouble sometimes. But I think that if you're looking at how to make some decisions on what to do, just do it and find out. Then you'll realize, I don't really like doing that thing. Well, then change.
Because a lot of some of our followers out there, they kind of very difficult to make the switch. I think you summed it up very, very awesomely and very amazingly, because you said that just explore. If let's say something didn't work out, you can just always change. But then rather than stuck into something that you can't really see the future, where you are not really passionate in, it's really, really so awesome. We got so many good advice from you today, Iain. Okay, one last thing. Can you also tell us, if let's say there is only one key advice that you want our audience to take away, what would that be?
Now, I'm a talker, so I'm coming it down to one piece of advice.
Only one piece.
Why?
Start with why.
It is. I know it's a little bit of a cliche and a lot of gurus use it, but it's so true. Why start? Seriously, like you're going to have relationship problems. People are going to disown you. They're going to be like, oh, you're always busy working on your business. You're so greedy. You're so this, you're so that. All you care about is your business, your business. Okay, so you got to ask yourself, well, why am I doing this? You know, because you're going to get the people who love you the most are the ones who are going to criticize you the most. Okay, that's so true. I have loyal fans and friends out there like yourself, but who believe in what I do. But I have my closest inner circle think, what does he actually do? He just sits, he just does this thing. What is this? He's got some video. They don't understand, right? And because they don't understand, they don't appreciate how hard it's going to be, or the struggles or the doubts or the self-doubt that you're going to go through. So, you know, you got to find out that if you really want to do this thing, why are you doing it? That's it. And every person's going to have a different answer. Like mine is freedom. You know, and freedom comes with obviously financial freedom as well to help support that. Being there for my children is super important, and also giving back to the community. So I'm actually getting to that stage in my life where what am I going to leave when I'm gone? I want to leave a positive impact on this world. And to be honest, I'm 42 years old. So the world's actually got worse in the 42 years. That scares me. That scares me. As a New Zealand boy growing up in the 1980s, there was no ozone hole. And then it became an ozone hole. This planet is seriously in decay. And at heart, I'm a big environmentalist. And I believe that my purpose is really to give something back that's going to benefit generations to come. And that's my ultimate goal. So find your why. And then when people are annoying you and not believing in you, you got to go inside and trust yourself that what you're doing is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think this is really fantastic. And you know what, Iain, you look like 25. You don't really look like 42 suddenly.
I've been awake since 5 a.m. I was on a 2-hour client call meeting not long before our meeting. So
Seriously?
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I actually, it's tea. I drink cups of tea. Yeah.
It's really awesome to have you in our show today. So how do our followers and our audience actually reach out to you?
Hey, look, I love connecting with people. So if you're wanting to reach out and say hi, like recently I just offered a sales apprenticeship scheme. Unfortunately, that's closed. I had so many applicants, and so I'm always looking out for people to get involved, either in sales, or if you're a business owner already and you're wanting to increase your sales, obviously we can help you with that. So the best place is digitalclosers.com, or you can find me on social media. So for example, Facebook, it will be Iain DC, stands for Digital Closers, obviously, and that's Iain, IAIN. It's not Leon, it's Iain. It's just I have to talk to Bill Gates, because I don't like how they don't have the eyes like that, you know, with the top.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, before I actually jump on the call, I was just trying to make sure that I pronounce it correctly. So it's really awesome. But guys, don't worry. I will actually put Iain's link, including Digital Closer's website as well as his Facebook profile, so that you guys can actually connect with him right away. And thank you so much, Iain. I'm really so excited to have you here to give us so many awesome tips.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much. I appreciate
No problem.
it. And I hope everyone out there, go for it. Don't give up on your dreams, okay?
Thank you so much. Take care then. Bye.